Hi, everybody. Welcome to our edition of On Deck with the Knights. Matt Swierad with you. And today we're joined by Nick Madrigal of the Chicago White Sox. Of course, Nick spent some time last summer with the Charlotte Knights. And Nick, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
So I guess you're in Arizona. The White Sox train in Arizona. But since we're going to talk about opening night experiences, I know you've had one, being a 2018 draft pick of the White Sox. But other times, when you were in high school or college at Oregon State, when opening night was always a special day, no matter what level you're playing at. But let's touch on first with the White Sox last season, breaking camp and opening night in minor league baseball.
Yeah. I was in Winston-Salem last year at the start, and I remember just being excited for it. I know everyone else in the clubhouse was very excited. Going through a long spring training, everyone was kind of ready to get out of Arizona and kind of report teams. And it was a good crowd, and Winston-Salem. And I can't remember what happened in the game, but I just remember everyone was really excited just to play someone else for a change and get on the field together. And it was a great moment.
You spent time at just about every level in the White Sox minor league system last year. When you make that jump to that next level, the next team, does it kind of feel like an opening night again?
It's definitely a little tricky, I would say, at first. You don't know a whole lot of people going from clubhouse to clubhouse, especially in my first year with the White Sox. When I made the jump, starting in the Arizona League and going to Kannapolis for the first time, I really didn't know anyone. I would say, it's a little weird at first, kind of everyone's looking at you, walking into the clubhouse. There's some, nerves and things. But, once the game comes around, it's the same game everyone's played their whole lives, and I would say that's the hardest thing. It's just going from clubhouse to clubhouse, getting all your stuff there, getting organized. And, I would say it wasn't even like the competition on the field. I would say it's just, getting settled in, meeting new faces. And that's something a little different for me.
When you break camp and you get to go and put that uniform on in a game situation, especially on an opening night, and you've had so much success no matter where you've played, what level you've played. Is there still that little bit of jitters inside you on that first night of the year?
There is. Yeah, there is. I think, leading up to the opening day, there's so much work that gets put in, and, there are some jitters, but I think it's just wanting to do well, not only for yourself, but, the guys out there, and just, the long off season. That was something new for me. I've never had that long of an off season ever. My first going up opening day, and it's more excitement, a little bit of jitters, but more excitement than anything.
You played at Oregon State, of course, College World Series, won a national championship. You want to get to the World Series of the White Sox, but you've got that experience of winning a championship at a really high level. What was that like?
That was a special moment. Being at Oregon State for 3 years and being out with all the guys I was with. It really was the core group for 3 of the years. There's a lot of the same faces, and we put a lot of hard work in together. That was our ultimate goal from the first day we stepped on campus, and getting closer and closer each and every year. My sophomore year, we came a couple games away from winning the national championship, and for the season to end that way, it was tough. But for the next year, kind of refocusing our sights and goals, and to leave on a national championship was special. I would say that the most special part was just sharing it with those guys, and I still talk to those guys to this day. It'll be fun in a couple years, 5-10 years, to reunite and share those memories together.
We've had a couple other guys that have played Oregon State. Danny Hayes. Do you know Jamie Burke, who is a catcher with us and spent quite a bit of time in the big leagues?
Gosh, that sounds familiar. I can't put a face to the name right now, but it does sound familiar.
When you got a chance to play at that level, the success that they've had, what was it? That's. You feel like if you can have success at that level, do you think internally I can play professional baseball?
Sure, yeah. I've always thought I can play professional baseball. I've known that's always one of my goals, and not only to be in professional baseball, but to be in the major leagues and be successful there. So I've always known it's possible. I've always worked extremely hard, and I would say, Oregon State is one of the best programs in the country, if not the best, for baseball. And yeah, you face some great competition, throughout the season, especially in the playoffs and regionals and College World Series. And you see a lot of similar faces once you go into pro ball, especially at the lower levels, guys that you played against and you've seen along the way.
Nick, take us through draft night. Fourth overall pick in the first round by the White Sox in 2018, but for the Sox #1 pick. Did you know Chicago was going to take you? And what was that day like? You had a chance to be, of course, in the first round, and you went so high.
Sure. Leading up to it, the day before we had a game actually in Corvallis, we were going through our regional there. So we played the night before. I was pretty thankful to have a game, so I wasn't just sitting around the house kind of stressing about it. And there's a lot of different talks that goes leading up to the draft. There's teams calling, asking what you're thinking, how you're feeling, kind of keeping. Teams don't really give you 100% answer. Oh, we're going to take you up until I would say about 2 or 3 minutes before the pick actually came in. I didn't know the White Sox were going to take me. I knew that they had been watching me, came to a lot of games. Talking to my agent, they were pretty high on me, but I wasn't for sure until I heard my name on the screen. And I had my family there and all my teammates and watching it on TV. It was just a really special moment for me.
For the fans that haven't seen you play yet, describe a little bit, put the scouting hat on Nick Madrigal's game. What makes you different?
I think it's just showing up every single day and just giving everything I have. My family's always taught me and my brothers just to give everything you have in whatever you do. If that's in work and school, playing baseball. So I would want to say if a scout has seen me one of the games or a couple games, just giving everything I have, all my effort out there, every single pitch, every single inning, and I would say that's what kind of makes me different from most people.
Nick, what was your impression? You finished the season with the Knights. So what was your impression when you played at BB&T Ballpark and got to experience the Queen City a little bit and the AAA level?
I was fortunate to play at the Knight Stadium a couple years prior to being up there, and I've known from the first time I saw that place. It's a special place, and you can see how many fans pack out almost every single night, and the field's beautiful. And yeah, I remember just getting up there, you being excited, a little nervous, a little bit older guys there in the clubhouse, and I don't know. It's the same game. Like I said, once I got on the field and got to playing, it was the same exact game. Like I said, there are older guys up there, but yeah, I was just excited just to be there and be in that beautiful stadium and back to playing ball.
You always hear the jump, from Double A to the big leagues isn't as big as from A ball to Double A. The pitchers and just control they have. What did you see at the different levels since you played at all the levels last season in the minor leagues?
One thing that stood out about AAA was just the scouting reports that were a little bit more advanced. We had stuff posted in the clubhouse of who was pitching that day for the other team and what he liked to do in certain counts. And you could see it once the scouting report was in the clubhouse and then you went out to the field. It was almost identical to what the opposing pitcher was trying to do to you. And then throughout a series of 3-4 game series, you could see based on your own personal scouting report, what they were trying to pitch against you. And that was something new. I feel like in Double A and Single A, the pitchers kind of just pitch their strength. And, if they threw hard, they would throw a lot of fastballs. But in AAA, if you struggled hitting a curveball, they would throw a lot of curveballs. But if you could hit a curveball, they would throw a lot of fastballs, So it kind of switched up on a, day-to-day basis. I would say that's one thing that stood out to me.
Is there a player that you kind of emulated your game, like as you're growing up? And of course, you become your own player now, but was there somebody that you kind of say, I want to be like that guy?
I think one person that comes to mind was just Derek Jeter. I really admired how he carried himself on the field and off the field. It seemed like no matter if it was Game 7 of the World Series or just a regular game, he was a competitor, and he gave everything he had out there. And he didn't really show any body language when he it wasn't going so well for him. It seemed like he was the same guy every time I watched him on TV, and that's something I really try to model my game after.
I got to ask you, you're a twin. Your brother Ty plays baseball as well. I've got triplet daughters, so I know what it's like. Are you guys, first of all, identical? And second, what's it been like? Is he your biggest fan? And was there some competition between you growing up?
So we're fraternal. He's a little bit bigger than I am. He has, a couple pounds on me, a couple inches on me, and so he got the height. But yeah, we're best friends. I mean, we've played together all growing up on the same team. It's been awesome, and we play catch in the backyard together, go hit together, ground balls. He's left-handed hitter, left-hand throw, and I'm right-handed and right-handed. So it's kind of funny we're the opposites of each other, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun having him around, him and my older brother and everyone. It seems like no matter what the sport was, we're always competing in the backyard together, whether it's basketball or pool games or whatever it may be. So, yeah, I can't imagine, not having him by my side. And, yeah, we are definitely best friends.
That's pretty cool. Hey, one last question before I let you go. I really appreciate the time here today. Spring training, it was certainly strange the way things have happened. It's a different time right now, and we all hope that we're playing baseball again very soon. But as you guys aren't playing, what are you doing now to keep yourself busy? You still working out? You're still in Arizona, of course.
Sure. Yeah, it's been hard. I am still working out, doing kind of in-home workouts in the backyard, looking at yoga videos on YouTube, just kind of trying to stay busy. I got a basketball hoop in the backyard, and we've been shooting a lot, just trying to stay busy, watching different TV shows. And I mean, it definitely is a crazy time, for the moment, but hopefully, that changes here quickly. I'm trying to stay ready. I know a lot of guys as well in the White Sox organization are just trying to do everything they can to stay ready. And yeah, we'll see what happens, but just trying to work as much as I can every single day.
It is an exciting time right now, isn't it, to be a young player with the White Sox?
It is definitely. You can see how many pieces we've added to the organization, and you can see it's close. If not, it's here already. So I think the next step is just to go out there and do it now. I mean, there's no more talking, nothing else. We got to rebuild. I feel like we have all the pieces we need, and just got to go out there and win at this point.
Hey, Nick, thanks so much. Really appreciate the time here today. Stay safe, and once baseball gets going again, we look forward to watching you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Nick Madrigal, the White Sox, has been our guest. More coming up in our next installment of On Deck with the Charlotte Knights, so join us then. So long, everybody.